Welcome back. One final point before we go tonight. The mainstream media is ignoring the tragic case of Alfie Evans in Britain, where the British government ruled that Alfie's parents must pull the plug on his life support and aren't allowed to take him to another hospital for alternative treatment. The media is ignoring this gross assault on human dignity because as easily as it's happening in Britain, it could happen here if we let snake oil salesmen like Bernie Sanders or Keith Ellison convince us to turn over our right to life in exchange for free health care. This is Alfie Evans. He's suffering from a degenerative neurological condition. The doctors at the hospital don't know what the condition is, so they told his parents there was nothing else they could do for the baby. His parents want to take Alfie to a hospital in Italy, but guess what happened when Alfie's father tried to leave the hospital? The police blocked the entrance, told him he wasn't allowed to leave with his baby. How can this be, you might be asking? Now, I tweeted about this story the other day, and I got a tweet back from a liberal who said, the doctors are probably right, so why should we care? Yeah, the doctors are probably right. So what? When you go to the doctor and he tells you you're too fat, is the government allowed to force you to stay at the hospital against your will, force you to abide by their treatment plan for your obesity? Of course not. You'd sue the government so fast for violating your rights, and you'd be right. And I don't have to convince you why you should care. You already care. You look at Alfie Evans, this sweet, precious little baby boy, and you see your son. You see your nephew. You see your grandkids or your best friend's kid. So what right does the government have to dictate whether any kid lives or dies? What kind of hideous government uses their government-run healthcare system to rule that this baby must die? Because that's what the courts in Britain did. They are forcing Alfie's parents to pull the plug on Alfie's life support and watch Alfie die. The court said it was wrong and pointless for Alfie's parents to take him to a different hospital in Italy, as if Alfie's life is pointless because he's sick, worth nothing to the British government. And the mainstream media here in the United States, I thought they spent the past 2 months since Parkland talking about saving kids' lives. Why not Alfie? Where are the marches, the walkouts, the Twitter hashtags? Where are the media appearances? Where's the movement to stop an oppressive government from reducing Alfie's life to the bang of a gavel from a hoity-toity elitist behind a bench wearing a powdered wig who doesn't even love Alfie? Is this the Hunger Games? This is Britain. It's not Cuba or the Soviet Union. This isn't China. It's not Venezuela. If this can happen in Britain, it will happen here. And that's why the cowardly media in the United States won't say a single word. Because make no mistake, it will happen here if we trade our liberty, our right to life, for the shiny fake promise of free health care. And when the government becomes the arbiter of life and death, where does it stop? Will the government kill the gays? Is it pointless, according to the government, to try to save an old lady's life because she's old? Ongoing treatment for people with disabilities, is it worth it? Or is it pointless? What about different skin colors? People with lower IQs, criminals, immigrants? Where does it stop if government has the right to decide who deserves to live and who deserves to die? Do you trust your government enough to put your life in their hands, literally? No. Do you trust the government enough to decide if your son, your daughter, deserves the right to life? That's the price we pay when we sell our souls for so-called free health care. When doctors' word is taken as gospel, and government bureaucrats like Bernie Sanders and Keith Ellison usurp our rights, call themselves God, deciding with a bang of a gavel and a pull of the plug who's allowed to live and who's forced to die. And that's my final point. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. If you like the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. In the meantime, catch us here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. And until then, have a good night.